And that's what it looks like.
Hello, welcome to Waypoint Survival. Today, I'm going to show you an awesome hobo stove. It's an old design, but it's one I haven't seen yet. I think you'll like it. Stay tuned. A couple of things before we start the video. First of all, if you like it, make sure and give it a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Helps to get the video out to more people, kind of kicks the algorithm into motion, as it were. And also make sure and take note that you can check out our classes that we teach here at the Waypoint Survival School. You can find information about that at www.waypointsurvival.com. We teach all sorts of survival and bushcraft, all the way from phase 1 through phase 4, which is our primitive survival and bushcraft. I got this idea from Hobo Thomas, and I'll make sure and put a link down below to the Hobo Thomas channel. So thank you, sir, for this idea. I really appreciate it. He says in the video that he learned it from an old miner at the Wagon Wheel Cafe in the mountains of Arizona. And so I just thought it was a unique design. I think something that will work really well for you. You can use it for survival and bushcraft, or if you happen to be a hobo, again, it's something that you might find very useful, and you can pick up this stuff pretty cheap just about anywhere. The first thing you're going to need is one of these very large cans. And you can get these at most restaurants. You can find them in the garbage, and or you can buy them yourself if you want. This one had green beans in it, but this is something, of course, that is very sizable and it will hold a lot, so it comes in pretty handy. All right, the first thing we need to do is take some sort of a marker, and we need to cut open a rectangular opening. Of course, we want to avoid the seam here. We don't want to cut that, so we can just come over a little ways and make a rectangular opening and just sort of guess a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. And we're trying to, of course, make something here where we can feed it. So something like that. Of course, you want to go ahead and cut that out. You can use snips or any kind of a Dremel tool, whatever you want. Of course, you would make this before you hit the road. You wouldn't necessarily have to carry snips around with you. After you get the hole cut out and then everything cleaned off so there are no rough burrs, you want to turn around to the very back of the can, and then, as we often do, we'll use the church key. That's this triangular part. The other side is a bottle opener. And we're going to put a series of air holes in the bottom of the can, right in the back. And we'll do that to about 5 or 6 in the back. Just kind of space them out. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect or symmetrical, but we do need the airflow. I think I'm going to go with just 5. And there we go. So we have just 5 air holes, and that takes us in the back about an equal amount of airspace in the back as we have in the front. Next, we need to make 8 marks, and we're going to be cutting this down this way. So we're going to go down to this first rib, and so you want to try to keep these as symmetrical as possible. So we start right in the center of the hole, and we go directly into the back. We put the next one, and then we go directly to the side. And again, this is kind of a guess, because again, this doesn't have to be perfect, but we're trying to keep these as symmetrical as we can. And you're going to make a total of 8 of these, and each one of these are going to be exactly, try to keep these exactly in the middle, even though it's not going to be perfect. I mean, if you really want to go ahead and measure it, you can, to make sure that these are precisely in the middle. But other than that, just kind of make a guess. When you get those all marked all the way around, go ahead and take the snips, whatever you're using, a Dremel tool, and go ahead and cut all of those out. I will do that, and I'll get back with you. When you get those all cut out, you're going to start by bending in every other tab. This takes a little bit of doing, and as I say in my other videos, if you have soft fingers, you probably want to wear gloves to do this. Otherwise, just be careful. When you get it done, it's going to look something like this. Now, we did go ahead and use our Hobo pliers. They're actually just an old pair of Ford pliers. They're antiques. I picked them up at a flea market, and I carry them in my Hobo kit. But anyway, that looks pretty good. That's what you want, something like that. Now, this is pretty standard to a lot of Hobo stoves, but we're going to start incorporating the lid. And what we're going to do first is we're going to put a series of holes in here. So just using a 16 penny nail or 8 penny nail, whatever you want, just go ahead and you can use a rock or you can use a hammer, and we're just going to make a series of holes here. All right, so that's what it looks like when you're done. Now you can make whatever pattern you want, just kind of freehand it, and of course we're not worried too much about the backside. We're just going to leave it like that, but it's smooth on top, and that's what's important. Next, we're going to take the stove and we're going to put this lid back down inside of here. You may have to work a little bit to get it down in there to fit. Just take your time. All right, when you're done, you'll have something that looks like that. Now, I'm going to take these tabs and we're going to press them in a little, put a bit of an angle on them. And that will just fit this Ozark Trail stainless steel pan. And of course you can bend these tabs in as far as you want, but that's going to keep it from sliding off. It's going to provide a good burner surface for our food. Now for fuel, it uses this quick flame chafing fuel. You can get this at the dollar store. It's a $1.25 store now, Dollar Tree, but this is actually $1.38 with tax. And unscrews, and it has a wick, and of course you want to make sure that that's pulled up good enough so you get a good flame. It's nice and wet. It's an alcohol gel type fuel, so it's going to burn relatively clear, and so you want to make sure you get that in there properly. Kind of pull that up. Now this will burn for a couple of hours, and Hobo Thomas said that if you're careful as you're heating this up, that you can generally get maybe a couple of weeks of cook time out of something like this. So again, your mileage may vary, but you could probably pry this off and fill this back up with another type of alcohol if you wish. And of course it comes with a nice metal lid, makes it easy to extinguish, tighten it back down and carry it. All right, let's go ahead and light it, and then let's cook something. Just going to light it with some matches. Now this burns pretty well invisibly, so you have to be careful, and you can kind of see it there. Go ahead and slide it in just like this. Now you may or may not want to elevate that a little bit, get the heat source a little closer, but you can feel the heat very quickly coming up. That's getting really hot. Next we're going to open a can of chili. That all out of there. Stir it around. Make sure that it's ready to go. And we put it on top just like this. Be careful, this can is going to get really warm. And you can see we got a little bit of steam coming up here. Of course, if you want to make it cook quicker, you can put the lid on it. Give you an idea of what the flame looks like on the inside. All right, it's been a few minutes. Let's go ahead and check it. Stir it a little bit. Oh yeah, you can see it's steaming good. Got some serious heat going on in there. All right, I think it's just about ready. And it's steaming hot. I would say on average for a can of soup you're looking at 10 to 12 minutes. So I don't know that you get 2 weeks out of something like this, depending on how much you would use of it, of course, per time, and of course would depend on the size of the chafing fuel that you use. So this one's a 2 hour. I probably have some that would burn longer, but this is definitely warmed up. Now this does get very hot, so be careful how you touch this, but you can grasp it down here at the bottom and very carefully pull that out. Now this is an alcohol flame, so you can blow it out, and of course that's why you can turn the can whichever direction you wish. Notice that this does have a plastic liner, so I wouldn't put it back on top of the wick until it's thoroughly cooled down. But then you can just put it on there and take it off and use it for your next. Still got quite a bit of fuel in there, so pretty impressed with this. And now it's time to eat. It's nice and warm. I'm pretty impressed with that little stove cooker. It's a really neat design. Thank you, Hobo Thomas. I appreciate the heads up on this little stove. And to everybody that's watching this video on my channel, I'd encourage you to go over to his channel and check it out. And he doesn't have a whole lot of subscribers, so I'm sure he could use a couple. Give him a boost and encourage him. Leave him some nice comments. This is James Bender for Waypoint Survival. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also make sure and check out the links in the description box below, just under the More button. And while you're down there, you'll also find our waypointsurvival.com link. And this is where you can take great survival and bushcraft classes here at our beautiful training facility in Southern Ohio. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos, and we'll talk to you next time.